How's everyone doing? In this video, I'm going to be showing you 10 horror movies on Blu-ray and DVD that I have in my collection that I haven't seen yet. And if you've seen any of these horror movies on Blu-ray or DVD that I haven't seen yet, let me know which one is your favorite or which one sounds the most interesting to you and which one I should watch first. Leave me some comments down below. And I've already done a video like this previously. I've actually gone through about half of those ones that I haven't seen that I showed in my other video of my unseen horror movies. So I'm going to be going through the rest of these since I figured I already got a bunch of those out of the way. And I'm going to be watching these this month. So I've had most of these for a little bit, and these range from kind of, there's a couple mainstream, but most are more kind of obscure or lesser known. And once I do view them, I plan on doing some reviews as well, so look forward to that. But let's go ahead and get into the list. First up is Summer of '84. I've heard a lot of hype for this one. From the clips that I've seen, it kind of looks like a mixture of Stranger Things meets The Babysitter. It's basically about these group of kids right here, and they think that the police officer who lives next door is a serial killer. And the whole concept is every serial killer is somebody's neighbor, which I actually think that's a pretty cool concept. From the clips that I saw, it looks pretty intriguing, and it definitely has that 80s Stranger Things kind of vibe going on. I remember there's a clip of them like riding bikes, and there's the music is very reminiscent of Stranger Things too. So it looks intriguing, and I'm looking forward to checking this one out. I've heard some good things about it. So this is also from the directors of Turbo Kid, right there, and that's another one that I haven't seen yet, but I've heard great things about. And let me know what your favorite serial killer movie is. Next up is Ghost Stories, which is a horror anthology. I've heard some good things about this one too. This is from Scream Factory on IFC Midnight. I know there's the two directors here. I think this is the first theatrical feature-length one. I think they've done like a TV movie and some short films and stuff like that. But I've heard some good things, and again, I like horror anthology movies. I feel like there's been a lot of good ones recently. Sometimes it's a mixed bag, but I like the unique creative ideas like ABCs of Death, VHS. Those ones, again, mixed bag, but I like a lot of it, and hopefully this will be something in that vein. And let me know what your favorite horror anthology movie is outside of Creepshow. I feel like that one is pretty much always one of the favorites. And yeah, I know there's a couple of recognizable people in here, and including one of the directors, Andy Nyman, is one of the leads in here too. There's two directors in here, and Martin Freeman is in here. There we go. Very recognizable. And I like that this one has the reversible cover artwork. I think that looks pretty cool. I like that Scream Factory does that. Nice feature. And next up is Down a Dark Hall, which this is kind of a mainstream one. I feel like there was a good amount of promotion for it, and then kind of fell off the face of the earth a little bit. I didn't hear anybody really talk about it. Uma Thurman is like this head mistress of this like young girls boarding school, and all these troubled girls go to this school, and then they realize something is amiss, and there's some kind of like paranormal, I don't know if it's a ghost thing or not, but there's apparently a dark hall, and they're not supposed to go into it, and of course, you know what happens there. And I know the young actress who was in The Orphan is in this too. So I think The Orphan is a really good film, and I thought it was a really strong performance there. This one does look atmospheric, at least from the trailers and clips that I've seen, and I like the boarding school looks pretty big and ominous. So I'm looking forward to giving this one a chance, hoping that the initial promotion was as good as the film is, because it's one of those things that's interesting. I feel they do that for a lot of movies. They promote it, and just stop, and you don't hear anything else about it. And I think Uma Thurman in this role would be interesting. She, from the clips that I saw, at first I didn't even recognize her, but I think she's a talented actress, and I'd like to see her do more horror movies. Next up is Dogs, which is from, I want to say the 76, and this is from Scorpion Releasing. They often put out a lot of kind of more obscure cult titles. It's basically about a group of dogs who turn on they track down their former masters and attack them, and they join in packs. It kind of reminds me of the 70s dog attack movie called Pack, which I remember liking that a lot as a kid. I remember rewatching it not too long ago, and I think it's kind of comedic now because they have all these dogs. I remember in the Pack they had like group of big dogs, and they have like chihuahuas at the end too. I was like, all right. Let me know what your favorite animal attack movie is. And another dog attack movie, Devil Dog. This is a made-for-TV movie, and it has Richard Crenna in here. And basically, they get this dog. This family gets this dog, and the dog ends up being possessed. It's like a demonic dog, and it's slowly, I guess, possessing some of the family members. And Richard Crenna has to stop the dog and save his family. So that sounds interesting. This is from Shriek Show. Let me know what your favorite made-for-TV horror movie is. So we got a couple animal horror movies, including the next one too. Cat, which is, this is a Korean horror movie, and it's basically about this woman who is a animal groomer, and she's grooming this Persian cat. And the owner passes away, so she takes possession of the cat, and then she starts seeing all these visions of this little girl, and then people around her start dying, and she's trying to figure out who the little girl is, and what the connection is, and what the cat has to do with it, and basically save herself before she ends up being next. So it looks creepy, and let me know what your favorite Asian horror movie is. Next up is German Angst, which is another horror anthology from three legendary underground filmmakers, controversial as well. Jörg Buttergeit, who did Necromantic and Necromantic 2 and Tram, and Andres Marshall, who did Tears of Kali, which I've heard of but I haven't seen, and then Michael Kazakowski, who did Zero Killed. So that's another one that I haven't seen, but this looks gritty, and it's going to be dark and deranged, I'm sure. Yeah, Jörg Buttergeit, definitely very perverse, so I'm thinking this one is going to be right up that alley, especially with these three directors that are known for those kind of films. So I'm going to give that one a watch, and the front cover right there is very H.P. Lovecraftian. So I assume maybe it might be something like that. Next up is A Taste of Phobia, where it's 14 international directors push fear to the limit. So there's going to be 14 short clips in here, all dealing with phobias. Again, very reminiscent of like ABCs of Death. This one, it has some really intriguing ones. I guess there's, you know, phobias for everything, but fear of hair, fear of young virgin girls, fear of feces, fear of contamination germs. I feel like that's kind of common and stuff, but fear of celestial objects, fear of cooking, fear of dreams, fear of being lost. Yeah, so those are, I guess, some of the segments in this one. It looks crazy. I don't know too much about this one, but yeah, it's the couple shots and the couple concepts for it. I'm intrigued, and I'm hoping it will be decent. Next up is The Dead Inside, which is I guess, a horror musical romance movie. It's a couple who I guess are having troubles, and I guess she becomes possessed and he's trying to save her. Or I guess it says on the back that signs of mental illness, but it looks like, and then it says lurking inside her and imprisoning her. So I'm thinking maybe it is a possession movie. I'm not sure, but I guess she writes zombie novellas, and he's a photographer, and they're both burned out. But yeah, from the back, it looks like, I don't know, maybe those are visions that she's having. Maybe she's not actually possessed, but who knows? I guess we'll wait and see. But it's a horror musical romance. So I've had this one for a bit, and I've been meaning to watch it, and I think it's finally time. I got to get all the ones in my collection that I haven't seen and watch them, but figured this is a great time for the few horror movies that I have in my collection that I haven't seen. Because I love horror. It's my favorite genre by far, and I always watch a lot of horror movies, but especially around this time, I try to ramp it up and do more coverage on my channel as well on here. I've pretty much watched the majority of my horror movies, so there's only a few that I haven't seen. But it's time to knock them off the list. Next is one that I've had in my collection for a little bit too, Circus of Horrors. That cover right there is just so amazing. This would be like an immediate impulse buy, just catches your eye. I absolutely love that cover art. Fantastic. It's in the Spectacolor. This is from 1960, and it's set in 1940s England when a plastic surgery is on the run from the police after a operation goes hideously awry. And so he's retreating to France in this circus, and he takes over the circus and performs operations on disfigured women, and then they become part of the show, and then some of them start dying in freak accidents, and reporters trying to figure out what's going on, and they think The Good Doctor might have something to do with it, but that cover art is just amazing. I can't wait to check this one out. I haven't even seen the movie, and I want this poster art. It looks so cool to me. I'm hoping that the movie lives up to the poster art right there. Let me know, here's an interesting one, what your favorite horror movie poster art is. I feel like that's kind of interesting. And let me know, I guess there's not a ton of horror musicals out there, but there's a few. Let me know what your favorite horror musical is. Stage Fright, not the Michelle Sauvé one, but the one from a few years ago with Meatloaf in it. That one surprised me how good it was. Horror musical comedy. And then there's Repo the Genetic Opera is like a pretty well-known one. There's a few other ones out there, but there we go. The Dead Inside, another into that one, which I feel like I haven't heard anybody talk about before. So there you go. Again, I feel like most of these are more lesser known and obscure. Again, Ghost Stories, Summer of '84, and Down a Dark Hall. I feel like people have been talking about them recently. So, and then Down a Dark Hall is kind of more of a mainstream one, although it kind of, you know, all the promotion went away. I didn't hear anybody else talk about it, but, you know, hopefully it'll be decent. So, there you go. Let me know if you've seen any of these ones, which one was your favorite, which one sounds the most interesting to you, and which one of these I should watch first. Leave me a comment or a video response down below. Hope everybody's doing well. Take care.